Hey, shalom, brothers, shalom, sisters. Bishop Nathaniel here. I'm gonna do a quick commentary on a movie called Glass. I just saw it the other night. I took the kids to see it. The beginning was on point. The middle slowed down a little bit, but then the end it picked up. Good movie. It's starring Samuel Jackson as a man named Elijah Price, who is also called Mr. Glass. The other character in the movie is Bruce Willis. He stars as a man named David Dunn. And then there's James McAvoy, you know, Mr. X, Professor X from the X-Men. He stars as a guy named Kevin Wendell Crumb, also called the Horde, who becomes the Beast. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take us through it slow, okay? Glass is the third part in a trilogy by M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, which began with a movie many years ago called Unbreakable, and later on followed by a movie called Split. And now most of us, myself included, I had no idea Unbreakable was part 1, Split was part 2, and Glass is part 3. This was a surprise to me as well as many people. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to briefly take us through the movie. So if you haven't seen Glass yet, I suggest you see Unbreakable. It should be on Netflix or Amazon. Then see Split. So I'm gonna just take you briefly. I'm gonna start with Unbreakable first. Okay, Unbreakable. Elijah is born with a rare genetic bone disease. He has a genius intelligence. It's a brother. Samuel Jackson stars him. His bones are super fragile. That's how he got the name Mr. Glass. The slightest touch, this guy breaks his bones, okay? He works as a comic book dealer. Samuel Jackson's character Elijah is convinced that since he is the most fragile man that ever lived, surely there must be someone his complete opposite. Someone that is super strong, who's never been sick a day in his life. So, to find this hero, to find this guy, Elijah destroys a train, killing everybody on board, and there's one survivor. That's David Dunn, who survives the train wreck without a scratch. Not one scratch does this guy get. Elijah Price is, as a result, I'm just speeding it up, he's arrested and committed to a psychiatric facility. Okay, so that's the premise of Unbreakable, starring Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis. So that's Unbreakable. So y'all can see it on your own. I left a lot of things out. That's just to give you a quick synopsis. Now, Split came out maybe about a year or two ago, starring James McAvoy as Kevin Wendell Crumb. Kevin Wendell Crumb being treated for having 23 different personalities. And those personalities collectively are called the Horde. That's what he's called. Kevin Crumb kidnaps three teenage girls, locking them in a basement. Okay, he locks them in a basement as his personalities are waiting for the arrival of a new personality, a 24th personality that's called the Beast. Okay, the Beast is super strong. He's flesh-eating, he's like a cannibal, and he can climb walls. He kills 2 of the teenage girls, and he kills his psychiatrist, okay? There's 1 teenage girl out of the 3 that he lets escape because she suffers from cutter syndrome, a cutting disorder. You know those people got psychological hang-ups, and they just cut their flesh? She suffers from that. So he allows her to live. He allows her to escape. So the Horde escapes, causing a major manhunt as the 3 bodies are discovered. So near the end of the movie, in a diner, you hear one of the patrons say, hey, there's a crazy guy. No, she says something like, this guy that they're hunting for reminds me of this other guy. Remember that crazy black guy in the wheelchair that killed everybody on the train? She said, what's his name? What's his name? And nobody can remember his name. Then you see Bruce Willis at the table, and he says, Mr. Glass. And she goes, that's right, Mr. Glass. And then Split ends like that. So that's a brief synopsis. I just want to hurry up and get to the main movie, Glass. So now we get into Glass. Glass is the third installment by M. Night Shyamalan. So I gave you a brief synopsis on Unbreakable and Split. So you can go on Netflix or Amazon and check those two out for yourself. Glass is currently in the theaters. So again, remember, Samuel Jackson stars as Mr. Glass. His real name is Elijah Price. Bruce Willis also stars in this. He stars as David Dunn. And then you have James McAvoy, who stars as Kevin Wendell Crumb. Okay, so now I'm going to go through it with you all. Just take your time. I'm going to take my time. Just bear with me. Okay. So Bruce Willis, which stars as David Dunn, he is searching for the guy that kidnapped and murdered teenage girls. He's done it several times. So his son from Unbreakable was little at the time. Now in this third part, his son is about maybe 22, 23, somewhere around his early 20s. Okay. We later find out that Kevin Wendell Crumb, who's called the Horde, has now transformed into his 24th personality called the Beast. That's right, the Beast. So David Dunn squares off against the Beast, where they are both captured by the police and committed to a psychiatric ward run by a redheaded lady called Dr. Ellie Staple, who also oversees therapy for Elijah Price, aka Mr. Glass. So remember, so now they got three of them under her care. You got Mr. Glass, who's also Elijah Price. You got David Dunn, and you have Kevin Wendell Crumb, who is also the Horde, also the Beast. Dr. Eli Staple, as a psychiatrist, she specializes in treating people who believe they are superheroes or supervillains, who are, in other words, they are more supreme over others. That's what her specialty. And she forces the men to question their superiority as heroes or villains. Okay? Her job is to assimilate them back into society as ordinary people. So Dr. Staple, Dr. Redheaded Staple, is part of a powerful, ancient, and secret society. With matching, everybody part in this society has like a matching green, what is a 4-leaf clover on their hand. Okay. Dr. Staple, she's part of the secret society. They believe that if superheroes or super persons, I word it like that, are ever exposed to the public masses, this will awaken the super quality in others where that quality is laid dormant. So the society believes keep it secret. Don't let nobody know that there's people with superpowers, super strength, super intelligence, super skills. Don't ever let it be known, because if it is commonly known, it will awaken the gene that's in some people. I want you to hold on to that thought right there. So day after day, Dr. Staple convinces her 3 patients that they are nothing special. They're nothing but ordinary men, okay, that suffer from delusions, okay? Elijah Price, Mr. Glass, with his super intelligence, plays like he's in a vegetative state. So you see this guy all through the movie, he's like, and he's not moving. You think this guy's comatose, retarded, or something's wrong with him. However, it's all an act, okay? He plays mute through the majority of the film, and it's a ploy, okay? And at night, he begins to leave the confines of his room to figure out the truth of what's going on in his psychiatric facility. Mr. Glass devises a plan for the 3 of them to escape, okay? And have a battle between David Dunn, who's super strong, and the Horde, also called the Beast, who's also super strong, for everyone to see. Atop this tall building, there's a grand opening for this huge building. His plan is, if we can get you guys out of here and you make this fantastic fight on top of the building where there's cameras everywhere and the world can see it, they have to believe that people with special abilities do exist. Okay. So As it turns out, the three of them escape, but never make it to the building. And instead, David Dunn and the Horde, who transforms into the Beast, have a battle royale outside the psychiatric facility. Bim, bam, boom. These guys are knocking the hell out of each other. They're moving and lifting cars, throwing cars around. Long story short, the police come, and on the police hands, you see those four-leaf clovers. So you know they are part of the secret society, okay? And what they do, they kill all three of them. They kill David Dunn, they kill Mr. Glass, he gets killed, and they kill the Beast. All three of them are dead. Okay, so that's a spoiler alert. So if you didn't know, now you know. I ruined the movie for you. Sorry. Okay, but Mr. Glass' mom comes over him crying. She's crying over him. And as he's dying, he tells his crying mother, Mom, this is not the end of the story. He says, this is an origin story. Now, that went over some people's head. See, the entire super fight between David and the Beast was recorded by the hospital's cameras and uploaded onto the internet, which spread worldwide on social media for everybody to see, believe, and awaken. So that's the premise of the story. So now let's get into the spiritual understanding of what this is about. So I did a whole lot of talking, and yes, there were spoilers, so excuse moi. So what is this movie Glass about? As you know, I tend to look at things through a spiritual lens, a biblical spiritual perspective. The red-headed psychiatrist, Dr. Eli or Ellie Staple, represents white supremacy. Why does she have red hair and red lipstick? Because she represents the nation of Edom, also called Esau, okay? And that secret society that she's a part of represents what the world calls the Illuminati. They spend trillions and trillions of dollars keeping blacks and Latinos from the truth of who they really are. God's chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, I know some of you are shocked. You probably never heard this before, but believe me, blacks and Latinos are in the Bible, and their biblical name is the 12 tribes of Israel. And the secret society called the Illuminati has spent trillions upon trillions of dollars to keep this truth a secret. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you that in the Bible. So now, because of our sin, because some people may say, well, if you're the children of Israel, why are you guys at the bottom of society? Why has America conquered you? Well, it's because of our sin. We were conquered and enslaved. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. Bear with me a second. Bear with me. And for those of you who don't know the Bible, this may be your first understanding on biblical truth. So just bear with me. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. It reads, But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So now, that was the premise for what Moses said to the 12 tribes of Israel. Because when we left out of Egypt, we were the supreme nation under God. Okay, indivisible. But we were warned not to break God's commandments, or these curses will come upon us and overtake you. I'm going to jump down to verse 41. Verse 41, watch this. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. What does captivity mean? Slavery. So what is the Bible talking about? The children of Israel, God's chosen people, were destined to go into slavery if they break God's commandments. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he, your enemies, shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. What are we reading about? Slavery. Watch this. Verse 68, last verse of chapter 28. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. The word Egypt is a Greek word that means bondage. You can reference that with Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. So let's read it again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, meaning bondage again, slavery again, with ships. With what? With ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there, once you get off the slave ships, ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning redeem you from God's curses. So as a result of us going into slavery, we have been subject to institutionalized racism that society accepts as a social norm. Religious institutions, educational institutions, and political institutions. Those three dominate the world of our people. Okay, watch this. With those three institutions, and now there's many others, but I'm just naming those three as the fabric basis of society. Watch what they do. I'm going to go to Psalms 83. This is going to tie into the movie. Psalms 83. Remember what Dr. Eli Staples' goal was. The society's goal was to keep these superpowered individuals secret, keep them dumb to who they are so that they could never realize their greatness. Let's go to Psalms 83. Watch this. Psalms 83. I'm going to read verse 3 to 6. Here we go. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. What is the crafty counsel? Religions is crafty counsel. Education is another form of crafty counsel. And politics is another form of crafty counsel. Divide us and conquer us. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? We are the Israelites. Why are we the hidden ones? Because the truth of who we are has been hidden in the earth. Watch this, verse 4. They have said, the nations have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So we don't realize who we are anymore. I want you all to understand that. We don't know who we are. Under the school system, we've been taught we are Negroes, Blacks, Latinos, Native Indians. We've been taught these false identities, okay? Now watch this. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Watch, I'm only going to name the first nation, the Tabernacles of Edom. That is the first nation who has orchestrated this conspiracy against our people. What does the word Edom mean? Red. What is the color of Dr. Eli Staples' hair? Red. Her lipstick, red. Her skin, red. It's not white. Her skin is red. Let's go on. Let's go on. Jeremiah 17:4. Bear with me. Watch this. Jeremiah 17:4. As a result of us being conquered, it says, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For you have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. So here in the Americas, we have served our enemies according to Bible prophecy. We have discontinued from the heritage God gave us. What did he give us? He gave us an identity as the 12 tribes of Israel. We discontinue from that. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. We discontinue from that. He gave us a language. We have discontinued from that too. Okay? So now, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. Watch this, watch this. Watch what it says. Isaiah 1, verse 3. It reads, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. What is that verse saying? As dumb as an ox and an ass are, they're two of the dumbest animals. They know where they belong. They know who their God is. They know who they are. But it says, Israel doth not know. My people don't consider. So we don't know who we are. We don't realize we're the Israelites. We don't realize our motherland is the land of Israel, whose capital is Jerusalem. We don't realize that. Okay, so now let's go on. Watch this. Psalms 82. Now let's reflect back. Remember, David Dunn and Samuel Jackson and Kevin Wendell Crumb are superpowered individuals. Now watch what the Bible says about the Israelites. I'm going to Psalms, the 82nd chapter and the 6th verse. Watch what it says about the Israelites. I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Let's read that again in case it slipped you. Psalms 82 verse 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So what happened? The Lord allowed us, our power to be taken from us. Now we have died like men and one of the princes of the other nations. We were at one time gods upon the earth. When we were in divine relation with the Most High and his Son, we were the supreme nation on earth, and all nations bowed and were subject unto us. You can read about that in the book of Kings, okay? But what happened? We fell and went into transgression, into sin. Believe it or not, the real hero of Glass, you won't believe it, what I'm about to say. The real hero of the story is Mr. Glass. What's his real name? Elijah. Elijah Price. Why does that make any reference to anything? See, Elijah realizes who he is, and he's the one that devises a plan to awaken David Dunn and Kevin Wendell Crumb. It's his plan. His plan, by having them come together, is to awaken all the other super-powered individuals worldwide. Watch this. Let's go to the book of Malachi. Okay, watch this. Let's go to the book of Malachi. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Let me get it. Watch the prophecy, brothers and sisters. Malachi chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. Here comes verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet. What? What does God say? Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And what would Elijah do? Verse 6. And he, Elijah, shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children. The heart of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Who are the children? We are the children. Why does he need to turn the heart of the fathers to the children? Because we have forgotten who we are. Then it goes on, and the heart of the children to their father. We're the children. He returned us to our fathers. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, David. Understand, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Christ, Peter, James, John, Paul. That's what Elijah would be destined to do. Verse 6 again. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So before the coming destruction, which is prophesied to come, the Bible says that the Lord would send Elijah the prophet to reawaken the 12 tribes of Israel. And I myself and many brothers and sisters worldwide, as you see us waking up to the truth that we are the Israelites, is evidence that Elijah has come and gone. Understand that, brothers and sisters. Those of us awakening to the truth of who we are is proof Elijah has come and gone. I have to repeat that thing again. Just like in the movie Elijah was murdered, Elijah in the recent times when he came, he too was murdered. Now, what happened as a result? Bear with me, bear with me. The truth was put out through Elijah, and with the invention of the internet, what happened? Our people are waking up via the internet at an exponential rate like you've never seen before. Fact. That's the same thing that happened in the movie Glass. The same thing. As people saw and heard what was being said on the internet, they started to believe and awaken. That's what you see happening now in the earth worldwide. Some of you may remember a few years ago what YouTube did. They experimented by shutting down my original YouTube page called Nathaniel 7. And all other Israelite pages, not just mine, but all the Israelite pages were shut down. That was a test. The Most High moved them to allow them to bring us back temporarily, okay? So my suggestion to all of you, download our videos, push this truth worldwide. Push it, don't let it go, okay? Download it, record it, okay? Now, You may ask, so okay, if Dr. Eli Staple represented Esau, the Illuminati, and Elijah Price represented Elijah the prophet, what did David Dunn and the Horde represent? Well, David Dunn, for lack of better words, reminds me in the film of the Tabernacle of David that you read about in Amos chapter 9, also 2 Samuel 3, verse 1, where it tells you the house of David grew stronger and stronger. In the movie, you notice Elijah the prophet always saying to David, you're stronger than that. You can do more than that. And he began to get stronger and stronger and stronger. This truth is awakening the house of David, which is the elect. Mark my words. Now, so you may ask, what does Kevin Wendell Crumb's character, the Horde, represent? Oh, some of you are going to get mad now. Remember, he had 23 personalities, and the 24th was the most dangerous one. The Horde simply represents mentally unstable Israelites. Let me say it again. I'm going to say it a little slow. The Horde represents mentally unstable Israelites who attack others simply because it appears fun. They lie, they slander, they hate, they insult. When you look at the movie, this guy's personality comes out and represents all those various qualities, which are the works of the flesh that I just mentioned. So when you check out, for give you an example, and many Israelite groups, when they're in a reprobate state of mind, they can't understand that they are the Horde. When you read Galatians, I believe it's chapter 5, bear with me. Here we go. Galatians 5 and 15. This is what it says about the Israelites. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one another. So the Israelites were warned here through the power of the Lord through Paul not to be attacking one another. That's what it means by bite and devour. See, the Horde literally bit people and would eat them, eat their flesh. But now this is a metaphor. When it says, but if you bite and devour one another, that means insult, slander, attack one another. It says, take heed that you be not consumed one of another. So these are revelations for us in these last and evil days. I'll say it like that. So, brothers and sisters, I pray that you gain some understanding. You can glean some evidence of truth. Hopefully, it will inspire you to read the scriptures first and foremost. And you can check out the movie. I did spoil some stuff, so I apologize for that. But I hope to lead you back to the scriptures where you can gain a little more understanding. And when you look at movies, try to look at the movie with a biblical point of view. So with that, brothers and sisters, I say shalom.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right. Take care of us. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have repented. We have repented. How about you? How about you? People want to know who's the king.
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.